Right now at 6, the air quality drops as temperatures creep toward the triple digits. We've got ways to help you stay cool in a KGW weather impact alert.
There's over 60 places on our map, everything from splash pad to library.
Then the search for answers in a Kaiser man's homicide and where investigators have now tracked his wife. Plus,
I think the operators handled it just about as well as it could have been handled.
KGW investigates a new report showing why so much of a dangerous chemical got into the river after the Nippon Dynawave disaster in Longview.
And Portland State makes cuts to departments and jobs official. So why are there more financial woes ahead?
We have not identified the full $35 million.
Then later,
it's exciting times for the football club.
The word about the new head coach set to take over in the Rose City.
But first, breaking news and a brush fire in Polk County, one that is forcing evacuations near Dallas, Oregon. Sheriff's deputies have evacuated homes on Oak Villa Road between Kings Valley Highway and East Ellendale Avenue.
Crews are working to get the fire under control and have the roads blocked as well. They don't know how long the evacuations will remain in place, but we'll keep you posted.
Well, that fire comes as temperatures hover near 100 degrees across the region, and as you saw, we're under a KGW weather impact alert.
As people across the area look for ways to beat the heat, we are tracking cooling centers that are open and offering a bit of relief.
Relief would be great for so many. We have live team coverage starting with meteorologist Joe Ranieri. Joe, talk about a scorcher plus all the smoke and all the haze.
Yeah, it's almost a perfect storm of our heat and just uncomfortable conditions out there. Now, we do have that weather impact alert up for tonight, and it stays in effect through tomorrow because of the heat. Heat is going to be high risk. If you're going to be spending much time outside, try to manage it and don't do it a whole, spend the entire 3-4 hours out at one point. Stay hydrated. Again, we're going to be looking at temperatures close to 100 degrees going into tomorrow. These were our daytime highs. A few locations could get very close to record breaking. The record this time for today at PDX is 104. We're not going to get there. Tomorrow, we could easily see record-breaking heat. The record is 98. I'm forecasting temperatures just above that. But here's a live look now from our Pioneer Park building camera. What you don't see is that smoke and haze. Just open up your blinds right now and go outside, and it is very thick across the city and from the coast, the valley, and into the east side of the state. Here's a look at all the different watches and warnings we have. This orange color is that heat advisory that's in effect until late tomorrow night. Meanwhile, air quality alert is also in effect throughout parts of the metro area. That's the case throughout the central and eastern side of the state too. What we're paying close attention to, speaking of the central and eastern side of the state, is the heightened fire danger. Red flag warning is in place. We've been seeing thunderstorms bubble up. That's the case going into tomorrow as well. What you don't see on the future cast is the smoke. That will be in play tonight and into tomorrow. The air quality is going to be taking a hit, so be aware of that. So this afternoon, we're going to be looking at temperatures here in the next hour, right around 98 degrees. We don't cool off a whole lot. Here's the smoke and haze throughout the east side of the state along I-84. This is a live look from our Oregon Veterans Home camera. Temperature of 99 right now, and that thick smoke will be evident throughout the central and eastern side of the state. It will pick up a little bit tonight and into tomorrow, so be aware of that. And coming up my detailed forecast, I'll let you know when things will start to improve and when this heat will finally push out of here.
Yeah, just feeling brutal, and we're not used to it. Thanks, Joe.
Well, our coverage continues this evening with Celine Stevens live in Northwest Portland. Celine, really glad you're looking into all the resources to help people stay cool during this stretch of heat. So very important.
Christine, definitely, and there are luckily a lot of different resources for people. Right now I'm across the street from the Bud Clark Commons, and it's where people can go inside and enjoy air conditioning, get some food and water all the way until 9 p.m. And again, it's just one of those many resources that people have to help keep them safe. And so in addition to the cooling center, county libraries, which are open until 8 tonight and tomorrow night, are an option, as well as splash pads. Even programs like Meals on Wheels, which are held at dining centers, while not technically a cooling center, can be used for those 60 and up to come and get food and sit in at a cool place with others and receive cooling kits filled with water, a cooling towel, and electrolytes. Over in Clackamas County, an overnight shelter opened at the Father's Heart Street Ministry today. And in Washington County, 2 cooling centers opened at the Beaverton and Tigard Public Library until 9 p.m. for today and tomorrow.
The important thing is keeping people alive and keeping them cool.
A cooling space means that we are providing spaces that prevent our community members from ending up in the hospital with heat illness.
The heat is dangerous for anyone, but especially older adults. So one of the best things you can do is check in on an older neighbor.
So TriMet will not turn anybody away who can't pay a fare if they're going to a cooling center through 10 p.m. Also, if you want to know more about any resources near you, you can just look up your county's website or dial 211. Back to you.
Well, Celine, appreciate you being out in the heat to tell folks how to stay safe. Thanks, Celine. Stay with KGW for our continuing weather impact alert and at least another day of extreme heat, smoke, and haze. You can find your latest forecast anytime on our free TV streaming app. It's KGW Plus, our KGW mobile app, or at kgw.com.
Now to some breaking news and a crash into a building in southeast Portland. This is a live look near the scene. It's happening on Southeast Division, just east of I-205.
We're just seeing these images for the first time. Firefighters telling us the driver went all the way into the building and then bailed out and ran off. Look at that car, the SUV. It's like inside. This appears to be a Sherwin-Williams paint store. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Police obviously now searching for the suspect. Okay, returning to more breaking news that we brought you at the top of the hour. A brush fire in Polk County, one that is forcing evacuations near Dallas, Oregon.
Yeah, our Alma McCarty just arrived on the scene. Alma, what are you seeing?
Yeah, David, Christine, this is a pretty rural area with a lot of farmland over here, but I am told by some of the firefighters that the flames, the actual brush fire itself, is behind these oak trees here. You can tell that it's a little bit smoky out in these parts. They do have a lot of fire crews responding to this one. We're told it is about 2 acres in size. That was the last check at around 2 p.m. Hopefully we can see some of these helicopter water drops that we have been seeing since we parked about 5-10 minutes ago. We saw the helicopter come through at least 3 times trying to tackle this thing from the air, but there are plenty of crews also on the ground trying to get this under control. As you said, the fire started outside of Dallas. Right now, there's not law enforcement staged to direct drivers in this rural area, but we did see, of course, those road closed signs. And again, lots of fire crews out here, so you can definitely tell that this is a very active scene. They're going to be out here as long as it takes to get this fire out of control. This is the Oak Villa fire near, of course, Oak Villa Road and Kings Valley Highway. Polk County Sheriff's Office, of course, asking folks to avoid this area if you can. And when it comes to the fire itself, as you said, some homes that are close to it have been evacuated. Pacific Power has cut electricity for some 50 folks in the area, while firefighters are working with another 300 or so still impacted. But the cause of that particular outage for those 300 folks is still under investigation. Of course, lots of new information. We're still trying to learn a little bit more about this fire in particular, and as soon as we get some more information, we will bring that to you. David, Christine, back to you.
We can see some smoke rising behind you in either an orchard or a tree farm. Obviously, touch and go there. Alma McCarty in Polk County. Thanks, Alma.
And in your end headlines, the U.S. has now seen nearly as many measles cases in just the first part of this year as we did in all of 2025. Local health officials sounding the alarm today, pleading with families to make sure kids are vaccinated before they go back to school. Multnomah County's health officer says people who are not vaccinated for measles cannot underestimate just how contagious it is.
Somebody was like walking through a store and another person got sick simply by being in the same kind of general vicinity. And I think that also kind of speaks to how absolutely contagious this virus is.
Absolutely. Now, Richard Bruno, who you just heard from, also says if you suspect that you or a family member might be infected, call your healthcare provider ahead of time to arrange treatment in a contained environment because, yes, it is so contagious. Another thing, look out for flu-like symptoms, plus rashes that start at the head.
In Vancouver, investigators are searching for the person or people they say set a playground on fire. This was Monday morning at the Oak Brook Park Play structure off I-205 near the Royal Oaks Country Club. Crews say it was completely engulfed when they arrived and a total loss. There's now a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
And police are still working to track down this woman on your screen that they say left the state after her husband was found dead in their home.
KGW's Harley Cold Iron went to the couple's house in Kaiser to learn more.
I'm in the neighborhood where Walter Pekka was found dead in his home last week after neighbors say there was some sort of altercation. Now, the wife, Shelley, is not being named as a suspect, but she is being searched for, and she appears to be on the run. Shock and sadness in a normally quiet neighborhood of Kaiser.
Well, as soon as I seen where the tape was across the front of the house, I knew that it wasn't good.
Tim was driving to do some yard work on July 17th when he saw a large contingent of cops outside a home on Cummings Lane.
Yeah, I turned down here to come to my son's house and seen the 3 cops right on the edge of the road and then seen the tape.
Police say they found Walter Pekka dead inside his home, though they wouldn't say how he died, but they are investigating his death as a homicide. Though not a suspect, the search is on for his wife, Shelly Pekka, who you see in this photo released by police. Police say her car was spotted in Kaiser Thursday morning, then in Brewster, Washington, more than 400 miles north of Kaiser on Friday. Police say Shelly is likely driving a red Ford Explorer with Oregon license plates.
And I lived in Kaiser all my life, so it's like,
Jackie, who walks by the home most days, said she's surprised about what happened.
This used to be a nice, safe place. I used to love living in Kaiser.
Another neighbor we spoke to said the Pekkas have lived here for more than 30 years. If you know anything about the situation or Shelly's whereabouts, you're asked to contact the Kaiser Police.
Charlie Coldiron there. And an update, Portland State University has released its final plan for staff layoffs as it works to offset a $35 million budget shortfall.
Now, the number of layoffs is actually lower than what they initially predicted. Our Devin Haskins spoke with PSU's president earlier today. So, Devin, what did she tell you?
Well, the biggest change from the plan unveiled this spring is fewer layoffs. The original number was as much as 52 staff getting laid off. Now that number has dropped to 36. Portland State says negotiations with the faculty union, along with voluntary retirements and other cost-saving measures, reduced the number of full-time staffing getting laid off. And as part of the projected $35 million budget deficit, the university will still eliminate 2 academic departments. Those are the conflict resolution and university studies departments. And it will make cuts in 6 other academic areas as part of a plan that's expected to save about $16 million. PSU says the budget shortfall is due to a part in lack of state funding, higher operational costs, and declining enrollment, among other factors. The university says those reductions are necessary to help out PSU financially, but says this isn't the end of the cuts.
We have not identified the full $35 million. We've been given 2 years to do that, right? 16 is not the total amount. That's the amount that comes from Article 22.
Article 22 is part of the collective bargaining unit with the union for the faculty, and the faculty union says the university is moving too quickly and says that it should wait until next year, when lawmakers are expected to make higher educational funding a bigger priority. A national report by the State Higher Education Executive Officers Association shows Oregon ranks near the bottom in the country for state funding of public universities. Back to you.
Fewer layoffs than initially expected, but still a hit. Devin Haskins reporting. Thank you, Devin.